Hello and welcome to podcast number 3 of Third Stringers, the show about tech and sports and how technology is revolutionizing all the major sports as well as health and fitness. Hello everyone, I'm Paul Dunlingblatter, the editor of Tech and Sports, and you can find great tech and sports content on our website, itbusiness.ca. From there, go to the sports tab, and that's where we are. With me here today is the big Radu, Alex Radu. So Alex, what happened last night to your Anaheim Mighty Ducks? They got smoked by a guy who grew up in the hockey hotbed of Germany, of all places.
I choose not to talk about it.
That's probably safe. Carlton Kid herself,
Hello.
Mandy Kovac, so sad about the Maple Leafs.
I know, a little disappointing, but hey, there's hope now. We have a future.
She's a little bit under the weather, but she's a real trooper.
I apologize.
Okay, we have a Power Pack lineup for you today, starting with something we don't really talk a lot about, which is sailing. It's true because we never talk about sailing, but we're going to be talking about sailing here with the Volvo Ocean Race. And folks, let me tell you, this race is not for the faint of heart and will totally blow your mind. We're going to continue on the racing theme with Mandy, who has a story about a Canadian teenager who's pursuing her IndyCar dreams with the help of Avaya. And Alex went down to Orlando to find out what the NBA's Orlando Magic are doing tech-wise.
Yes, sir.
We're also going to have trivia and our picks for the Stanley Cup and NBA Finals. So sit back and don't panic because the third stringers are coming into the game. All right, so for impossibly hard trivia, because our main story is about sailing, I have a technology and sailing question for you. Can you name which famous high-tech CEO has led his sailing team to back-to-back America's Cup Yachting Championships in 2013 and 2016?
So this trivia follows the more impossible side of the questions.
Because we know a lot.
I know
about sailing.
So think about like Bill Gates type of tech icon, because that's who this guy is.
Okay.
Do we get a hint? Like a nationality, perhaps?
I think the Bill Gates thing was the hint.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you're giving us?
I'll give you a hint that he's American.
Oh,
Okay.
really great
Because
hint.
that narrows it down.
Yes.
So my one pick,
Okay.
just because I don't know, Dr. Jim Goodnight, CEO
My God,
of,
you are
SAS.
of SAS. That's right. That's very, very close because SAS is in the same marketplace as this other company, which is owned by this high-tech CEO.
Yeah.
You probably want to think about this. So we'll give you the answer later on in the show. If you know the answer, tweet us, and you may win a prize in a next show. Okay. So let's talk about the Volvo Ocean Race. This has been called the Mount Everest of racing. Imagine a sporting event that lasts 9 months, travels 72,000 kilometers, which is almost 40,000 nautical miles, all on water. And this competition is held every 3 years, and there's roughly, between 7 or 8 teams. It's a yachting competition, just like the America's Cup. It starts this October. And the big thing is that a solution provider, a global solution provider, HCL Technologies, is going to deliver the technology backbone for this race. Let me tell you some of the aspects about this race. It's amazingly grueling. It covers 10 ports of call. So they'll go to Spain, Ireland, Asia, India, China, Brazil, Sweden, and it'll finish in The Hague, which is in the Netherlands. And it goes across some of the toughest waters on this planet, the Cape of Good Hope, and they call that for a good reason. You need a lot of hope to get across it, and the Cape Horn, which is on the tip of South Africa. Also, some of the rules are incredibly strenuous. For example, you can't bring any fresh food on board, and some of the sailors have to incur freezing temperatures on one leg, and then the next leg incur 40-degree heat.
Okay.
And they can only bring one set of clothing. So
that's extreme.
It is extreme. So let me tell you what HCL is going to be doing. So they're responsible for developing the IT infrastructure, which will be the technology backbone of the Volvo Ocean Race. That'll include intersite connectivity, digital content delivery, mobile data centers. So because they have 12 racing villages where all these boats are going to be docking on, and so they'll need data centers for all of them with full redundancy and Wi-Fi networks. And 2 million viewers will be watching this race, believe it or not. Let me tell you what Mark Turner, the CEO of Volvo Ocean Race, said about the upcoming event. Connecting the expected 3 million race village visitors, the 5,000 accredited journalists, and millions of fans around the world is an immense task. Building the complex IT infrastructure to support this huge challenge, and we're confident that the partnership with HCL Technologies will allow us to provide fans, media, and stakeholders with more connected experience than ever before. So that's the Volvo Ocean Race.
That's cool. Do they do the same route every year?
No, they change it up. I think when they first, this is the 12th or 13th edition, and I think they started with 4 ports of call back in the day.
Oh, so the light version.
That's the light version, yes.
No,
it becomes increasingly more difficult as the races continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my first thought that comes to mind is there's only one set of clothing. Just think of the killer tan that they're going to get.
I was thinking how much they're going to smell, but
I mean,
that too.
Well, I mean, they can always just jump in the water, I guess, but...
Yeah, that's fair.
But
I know, they're away from their families for 9 months.
That's tough.
It's
Imagine the beard that you could grow in 9 months.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a heck of a beard.
Both of you.
For sure, yeah.
And then the other thing, you said 5,000 journalists.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of journalists for one race.
Did we
It's
go?
9 months.
Well, you got your niche sailing journalists.
There's that
You got
many
your
of
boating
them?
enthusiasts that will be traveling through all these ports of call. But then in each port of call, you got your local beat writers, and I'm sure there's going to be nationwide media as well too. So that's probably where they're getting. This is the first time I've ever heard of this race, because we've heard of the America's Cup, the Vendée Globe race, but yeah, this looks like a really excruciating type of event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
And considering HCL's relationship with this entire event,
Right.
how does that sponsor change how fans can interact and watch with this event?
I think it's going to be similar to what the Tour de France is doing with another great solution provider, Dimension Data. If you go online, you're going to be able to track your favorite sailors or maybe your favorite teams from stage to stage, see how they're doing. They're also going to be producing a lot of video, and it's going to be uploaded. That's where those mobile data centers are going to come into play. And these videos are going to tell, I think, amazing stories. If you go onto the website, those videos are absolutely spectacular, with waves crashing on these guys, and they're, turning their sails and everything like that. And I think it's going to be really interesting to hear how these guys have navigated through the Cape of Good Hope or Cape Horn, because I'm sure that's, I think, the most interesting part, because those waters are just gauntlets for sailors. So it's going to be really, really interesting. We're going to continue to cover this as the race starts. But Mandy, tell us about your teenage phenom that's going into IndyCar racing.
Yeah, so Kendra Adams is a 17-year-old from Innisfil, Ontario. She just graduated high school a little bit early, and she's been racing cars since she was 13 years old, and now she's here. She got a sponsorship from Avaya. So they're going to be an associate sponsor this year. And then Avaya Edge's channel partner, SE Telecommunications, is going into their 4th consecutive year of supporting Kendra in her racing. And so it's been a fantastic journey so far. She's really excited to be working with them. I got a chance to speak with her, and she's really excited for this season.
So what did she say about Avaya and the channel partner SE Telecommunications sponsoring her?
Yeah, well, she was really excited about their global reach. So, I mean, they are multinational companies, and so they have a large platform, both social media-wise and marketing. So she is really excited to be using that to really boost her brand and be better known internationally.
And we've been talking about mobile data centers. One of the things that Avaya has done with the IndyCar race is, when you go to each of these venues, because I think there's 20 races in IndyCar, you have to sort of build your own mobile data center right there for pit stops and other sort of telemetry data that you need from all the sensors on these cars to try and win races, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's getting a lot of support from them, both technology-wise, financially, and even marketing. So it's going well for her.
So is this sponsorship almost kind of like a validation of the successes that she's having so far?
I think so. I mean, Corey Mindell, the Canadian channel partner or channel chief, he called her a fantastic girl, role model for all young women wanting to get into racing, and she was really grateful to hear that. When she was in 2015, she was actually the only Canadian to be selected for NASCAR's Drive for Diversity Youth Combine. So that's a development competition for young drivers to kind of get them more involved in the NASCAR sphere. So, I mean, she's doing really well for herself, and last year and this year she has already a lot of top 15 finishes. So it's going to be a good season.
Fantastic. So someone to root for from a Canadian standpoint in the racing circuit. Maybe she may become the next Danica Patrick.
You never know. Remember the name, Kendra Adams.
Kendra Adams.
And where can people follow Kendra?
Yeah, so she's really active on Twitter. Her Twitter handle is @2 Kendra Adams. And she will also be appearing on The Fast Lane. So that's a new Rogers TV show that will be scheduled to air in June. So you can catch her there.
Great. Okay, so Alex, next story is about the Orlando Magic. You recently went down to Orlando. What's going on with the Magic?
So I was earlier this month. I was at the SAS Global Forum, which is their SAS's annual conference, and Anthony Perez, the executive VP of strategy for the Orlando Magic, was there for a talk. And he was talking about how, despite the fact that Orlando hasn't had the greatest record in the last 5 years, they've had a lot of successes in the organization off the court. So we're talking behind the business and all that sort of stuff. And so for the third year in a row, the Magic top the Turnkey Intelligence's annual sports data system study. So that's the Orlando Magic. They've been voted the organization with the most sophisticated CRM and database management by 29% of those surveyed. And I don't mean data management as in the sports analytics that a lot of sports fans have come to know, love, maybe hate.
Yeah.
I mean business analytics, because at the end of the day, all of these teams, they're business. They need to succeed despite their record. And this survey is not just for the NBA. It's for every major professional sports team in North America. And the NBA, thanks to the likes of teams like the Magic, the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, they lead all the other leagues. But don't count out the MLB, who's in second, and teams like the Dallas Cowboys, which are a NFL standout.
America's team.
America's team. To some.
Yeah,
To some,
not
exactly.
to all.
That's right.
And so the Magic have a tight relationship with SAS, who they started using SAS Analytics in 2010 when the organization was looking for a way to drive ticket sales for the new Amway Center. So that's when the team began its relationship, and they introduced variable pricing. So we're really familiar with that, but to those that don't know what variable pricing is, it means that depending on who the team is playing, that a single seat might be a different price.
Okay.
So let's say the average price is $50. If the Golden State Warriors come to town, maybe that's $70, or if the Milwaukee Bucks come to town, it's maybe $40.
Gotcha.
So and that's no offense to Buck fans out there.
Go Raptors, though.
Yes, go Raptors. So it's very interesting to see how they're using analytics to succeed as a business, because they are a small mid-market team. They don't have the greatest record. They don't have a superstar. So it's all about innovating, and that's what the Magic have done. You can do everything through their mobile app, whether it's changing your seats, skipping the line at concession stands, meeting the mascot, getting into the team's post-game press conferences. You can do anything from the app. So they're really trying to make the experience great because the team's not winning. So they have to get creative. And there was this one quote by Anthony Perez that really stood out to me, and he said, "We've proved that how many wins and losses you have as a team doesn't prove your fate. We've proved we can be successful despite not having the most ideal record." And he's right. You know, the Orlando Magic have been valued by Forbes at 19th place in the NBA at just under $1 billion, which is, pretty impressive for a mid-sized market to be doing with, a
Lower end of the mid-size.
yeah, lower end of
19 of
yeah,
30
especially
teams.
with a losing streak.
Yeah, exactly.
A long
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So it's really interesting to see how, teams like that are succeeding. And I think the fact that the NBA is, higher on this list shows that these NBA teams they're really stepping up their game on the back end, and they're all working together so they all succeed as a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I was a fan of the Orlando Magic, I would want to know, how is this going to help them win games? Because ultimately, if I have a great experience, but my team continuously loses, that experience is is not going to be great each and every time unless they start winning.
So it's not.
Unfortunately, as much as they wish it would.
Yeah, as much as, you would hope that having a great fan experience is going to make your team better.
Right.
Anthony Perez and his team and, the guys and gals who run the actual business of the Orlando Magic, they don't exactly have a say when it comes to who's on the team, who are they drafting.
Maybe they should.
Maybe they should. So we'll see. But what makes this really interesting is that if they were able to craft a really great team, then this is when that stuff really then starts to stand out, where like the fans are already enjoying the experience, but now they've got a great team too. So they have a really good foundation built, but it is a sport. You need to start winning games, and based off the Orlando Magic this season, we'll see if 2017-2018 is any different. But
because they did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, for the 5th year in a row. And it looks like it could be 6.
Yeah. Are they the only NBA team doing this?
No, so a lot of them are.
Okay.
So one of the questions that was asked to Mr. Perez was that do they all work together? Or are, like, when you're talking about trades and all that, you're not working together with any other teams.
Right.
But they have no problem sharing their successes on the business side of things with, a rival, even like the Miami Heat. Because if they all succeed, if one team succeeds as a business, then they all do. Because ultimately they're a league, and they're all, if the whole league succeeds in this way, they're all making money.
Right.
So
Alex, let me ask you, how does this improve the fan engagement to those fans who are not in the building, in the Amway Center?
So that's a tough one, because this really only improves your experience at the games itself.
The live experience? The
live experience, because the problem that they face is as they start to lose, you have to persuade fans to go to the games. Because it's like, they might have the Golden State Warriors come in there, and it's like, does Orlando really have a shot?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So, although if the Lakers can beat the Warriors, then anybody can.
Anything's possible.
So it's really more so about making fans want to still come to these games despite the fact that they're losing. Because, if the New Orleans Pelicans come into town, you got to persuade some fans that, hey, this is a game you should go see live instead of maybe watching a quarter or two on your TV.
Right.
So it's really more so about that live experience.
Right.
Okay, really interesting. Let's see how that tracks down the road with other NBA teams. Yeah. Okay, let's get to our picks. Based on the analytics, on the data, we're going to be picking our finalists for the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals. Any volunteers? Or do you want me to start?
Why don't you start, Paolo?
All right. So in the Stanley Cup Finals, I've chosen the New York Rangers and the Nashville Predators.
All right.
Nashville, I think, is trending up if you look at their Corsi numbers, because I think the best Corsi numbers are with the Ducks, and I thought about picking your team to go right to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know who's going to win, but that's who I'm picking for the Stanley Cup. Now for the NBA, I think the Golden State Warriors will get there from the West, but for the East, I know I'm going to sound like a homer here, but I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors. I think they will get past the Bucks. They will defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers, because Cavaliers are really going south. They had a really tough stretch trying to beat the Pacers. And I think whoever they face in the Eastern Conference Final, it won't be as much of a challenge as the Cavs. I don't think they're going to win in the finals, but I think they will make it here this year. So those are my predictions. Mandy, what do you think?
Well, I agree with you for the NBA. I mean, the Golden State Warriors, you can't beat that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way. But you're right. I think the Raptors are this weird team that might squeak through. The Cavs have been kind of rough this year. I mean, LeBron could easily carry them the whole way. That's always a possibility. You can't count them out. But I don't know. I think the Raptors might do it again. I don't think they'll win, but we're not picking winners yet.
I think they got good defense now to combat LeBron with Serge Ibaka and PJ Tucker. And and they took them to 6 games last year.
Yeah.
So they were sort of close.
As long as the team
although they were blown out in the 4 losses that they incurred. But yes,
talk about that.
That's right. They got to stay healthy. Exactly.
They do have to stay healthy.
So that is your NBA pick. What about your NHL pick?
And then NHL, I'm going to go with the reigning champions, the Pens, because, I mean, Sidney Crosby's on fire. He's been amazing all season. He led the league in points and goals. I'm not sure about assists, but, I mean, that's kind of enough. And then on the other side, I'm going to go with the Blues. because I think Jake Allen, again, he kind of had a rough season, regular season, but he's been fantastic in the playoffs, and I think he could take them the whole way.
Although they lost to my Predators.
They
last
did.
night.
They lost last night, so
Yeah.
I mean that was a rough start.
And the Pens
not what I
are-
wanted,
And
but
the Pens are with their backup goalie, I believe, but he is a Stanley Cup champion.
he's already won a cup. Exactly.
That's right,
He
that's
can do
right.
it.
All
And,
right.
he's,
It's only game one. You can't
and
only
I
game
think
one.
he's our age, and clearly millennials are superior. So
According to the two millennials
Yeah.
on the panel. Alex.
So NHL wise on the East, I'm gonna go with the Caps. This
Yeah.
is the Caps year. They have to do it this year. Too
think?
many of their guys are free agents. And I feel really good about it because they had to go through a really trying first round against the Maple Leafs. And
out.
I think that this is the year they can beat the Pens. I like the Rangers up top, but I think the Caps can take the Rangers out. Unless Lundqvist decides to just,
stop.
be
playing.
amazing. But the problem is that Holtby,
Right.
fantastic as well.
That's
He
right.
really is.
So he could easily get them to the finals.
Doesn't a caliber goaltender for sure.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the West, I'm going with my Ducks.
Yeah. I thought so.
I'm not surprised.
Did I look at any stats to back that up? No. It's my
No, but their stats are trending the right way, especially with their defensemen.
we have the best centers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
We have such a deep line. Ryan Kessler is going to eat Connor McDavid, and we're going to win a cup.
Well, you didn't last night.
He did actually.
Well,
Connor
it
McDavid
was
did not.
Leon Draisaitl from Germany who
That's fair.
ended up-
Connor McDavid did not record a single shot in the first 40 minutes of the game. So
Okay.
yeah.
So in your NBA?
NBA. So on the West, it's as much as I think it'd be fun, and it's gonna be fun to watch the Spurs and the Rockets try and beat the Warriors. You added arguably this, one of the top 2 players in the league to a team that won 73 games.
Yes.
Like, unless, Durant gets super hurt, Curry gets super hurt. I mean, like, even if you lose one of them, you still have 3 of the, top 15 guys in the league.
Yeah.
Right,
Or maybe
right.
even top 10, depending on who you want to debate with Draymond Green. So it's like, it just makes no sense to bet against
They're such a
against the
deep
Golden.
team.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard not.
And then
In the
on the East, so I'm gonna go with the Cavs here. So I think when you really look at especially the defensive efficiency of the Cavs, really trending down. And the Raptors, I think, do have a better chance at beating the Cavs than they ever have before, and I think the Celtics could possibly do so as well. But there's one thing that analytics don't account for, and that's the LeBron quotient.
That's right.
And LeBron is a superhero,
Yeah.
and he's able to win games. Stats be damned.
By himself. That's true.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past him. I don't think the Cavs are going to win. I think they're really going to have to fight. I mean, they swept the Pacers, but those were all close games. Paul
Right.
George really always puts up a fight against LeBron. So I think they'll get to the finals, and then probably the Warriors will smash it. But who knows? We thought that last year, too, and LeBron
We did.
willed them back. So we'll see.
All right, interesting. Let's get to the impossible hard trivia. You answered Dr. Jim Goodnight.
Yes.
That is incorrect. He is a 70-year-old man, so I don't know
Yeah.
if he was up to racing.
I think he might be 80.
But this person has actually also just turned 70, or
Okay.
may have turned 70 a few years ago. I'll give you another hint. He founded Oracle, because the team that won back-to-back was Oracle Team USA. Mandy, have you given it any thought?
I don't know who that is.
You
I
don't
feel
know
like
who
I
that is?
should know who it
I,
is.
right?
but-
I feel like I should, and I've heard it before.
I've definitely heard this
I don't
person's name
remember
before,
it now.
but it's now it's not here.
He's quite an interesting man. It's Larry Ellison, the founder and CEO, longtime CEO of Oracle. He sort of semi-retired. He has 2 new heads now, Safra Katz and Mark Hurd running the business. You also could see him at Giant Games in McCovey's Cove in a kayak, picking up home run balls every once in a while. So he is an eclectic guy. He's worth $23 billion. And that's what I believe it takes to win these sailing races.
And this is what he does in his spare time.
This is what he does.
What a
That's the
guy.
America's Cup right there in the back.
Cool.
A spectacular trophy. And that's it for the show today for Third Strings. Thanks a lot for tuning in. You can go to itbusiness.ca sports page for more stories like the ones we were talking about. That's a wrap for Third Stringers. Talk to you next time.